If I could share one tip with you today, in which I believe will take your business to the next level, what would it be? One of the most powerful things that you own is your story. It doesn't matter if you are a business owner. It doesn't matter if you are a content creator. It doesn't matter if you are a speaker. People absolutely love to know about you. If we were all honest, all of us are looking for inspiration. We're all looking for motivation. We're all looking for the steps which show us how to create, how to do, and how to be better than what we are today. We crave connection. And that's what your story does. It connects you to your audience. And that's going to be the thing that sets you apart. Your marketing is more important than your mastery. What does that mean? You can have the best service. You can have the best product. You can create the most efficient system in the market. But until people really know who you are and know what you do, could it be that it's all in vain? So what am I saying to you? It's okay that you don't start off perfectly right away. Now, of course, you want to make it as excellent as possible when you do come to market. But again, your marketing is more important than your mastery. We all want to be a success. We all need motivation. And at times in our life, we all need inspiration. That's where I come in. I'm a cheerleader of sorts. I like doing it. I like helping people. And I like encouraging them to be their absolute best. Hey, everybody. It's Kisa, Coach K. I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing day. Listen, I have so enjoyed bringing you information in which to encourage you and strengthen you in your relationships. And for some of you who are even in relationships which are not ideal, I've enjoyed encouraging you to make better decisions for you. How often is it in relationships that we're making decisions, but it has nothing to do with us? It normally revolves heavily around the other person. Excuse me for that. Heavily involves uplifting the other person sometimes, heavily involves negating our own needs. Okay. Part of that is sacrifice, and part of that is what we agree to as part of being in a relationship. But the other part of that is simply it can be a launch pad for abuse. It could be a starting point for abuse. If we're always putting another person first, we're always taking care of their needs and negating our own, it can be a springboard for abuse. Welcome. Excuse me again, just getting over a cold. Welcome to our second installment of You Could Be Dating a Narcissist, Ideal Partners and what they look like. I am Kisa Sharp. I am Coach K. I am a life coach, certified life coach, 30-year broadcasting pro, covering television news, corporate communications, and also print writing as well. And I'm also an award-winning author and an Alabama maker and the founder and creator of the products brand All Shea Naturals Luxury Shea Butter and Sugar Scrub products. In fact, head on over to our site after the broadcast, and you'll be able to pick up you some products with a 30% off discount with the code SUMMER, all caps SUMMER, as we get ready to close out with summer, in fact, which is just a couple of weeks away from bidding us goodbye. It's definitely been a great summer for me, and I certainly hope it has been for you as well. So as we get ready to launch into this program tonight, we, for the past couple of weeks, have been talking about the effects, devastating often, of narcissism, devastating emotionally, psychologically, mentally. And in some cases, for some people, it escalates physically. See, the beauty of being in the dating arena, even though I know it's frustrating sometimes, I know some of you want to have your person at this point. But sometimes that wait is God protecting you. Sometimes that wait is God allowing you to get more information about this person that you want to become booed up with. And I don't make light of it one bit because it's very serious in terms of what this could evolve into in terms of dating a person if they are indeed a narcissist. Now, in some cases, a person not necessarily a narcissist, they're just controlling. They may have narcissistic tendencies, or they're just, they're just immature, emotionally immature. They're just, haven't grown up. A grown man in, or a little boy, let me rephrase that, in a grown man's body. They just hadn't grown up. Sometimes it's not narcissistic. I know we use that word a lot, but let's be careful with that. But make no mistake, narcissism is real. Okay? Narcissism is a thing. Okay? So today, what are we talking about? We're talking about traits that make you an ideal partner for narcissists. Our first item that we talked about, low self esteem. That video was kind of interesting too, because not only did we talk about what makes you an ideal target, I gave you some tips on how to overcome practical things that you can do right now. I don't believe in standing here, coming on broadcasting and giving you a whole bunch of information without giving you any action items. So you've got some action items, and your action item, quite simply, is to make sure that you understand that if you are a person dealing with low self esteem, there is a way out. Just like there is a way out if you're dealing with someone who is a narcissist, there is a way out. Make no mistake about that. Okay. So tonight, all right, we're talking about studying the effects of it. Tonight, what we're looking at, what makes you an ideal partner for a narcissist? And you could be dating a narcissist. And I'll begin by asking you this. Are you a person who is, drum roll, please, passive? Passiveness is one characteristic that is looked at for those who are narcissistic, because what you'll find with those who are narcissistic in nature, they have an abundance, an abundance of arrogance, abundance of confidence in themselves. In fact, it's so overwhelming. And we all love confidence. I mean, listen, men like confidence in women. We like confidence in men. But the thing about a narcissist, it's overwhelming. Sometimes to the degree where you're just like, okay. I mean, okay, yeah, that looks nice, but okay. You know, you're a beautiful woman, but okay. I mean, it's over. It almost smacks you in the face that it's so overwhelming. And oftentimes it's overwhelming because person who is truly a narcissist, they have a very fragile ego. So inside they have a very fragile ego. So the outward exterior that they give everyone else, it's big and it's large to really cover. It acts as a shell covering what is a very, very small thought about themselves, because a number of them actually suffer from low self-esteem. That's why they can recognize, the person who does deal with a low self-esteem. Okay. But you will see the big ego, okay, as it relates to a person who is narcissistic. But back to who they're looking for, ideal partners, being passive. And what is passive? Passiveness is defined as accepting or allowing what happens or what others do without any active resistance. Let me ask you again, are you a passive person? Has anyone told you that you're a passive person? Would you consider yourself a passive person? Okay. Have you ever even thought about whether or not you're passive or not? So, with passiveness, it's anything that they say or do, it goes. Or you may get angry. Here's another side. You may get angry, but you just don't tell them. And then consider this, being passive on, now that's what other people do to you. So, that's the receiving side of passivity. Okay, let's talk about the other side of it. When you and how you relate to someone else. When you want something, do you know how to ask? Or are you too afraid or even, too afraid to ask for fear of rejection, or too afraid of allowing people to even know that you have a need? "Oh, I'll be just fine. It's okay. No, no problem." Is it really? No problem? Are we sure about that? So anyway, it's a person who is gray, neutral, not hot, not cold. They take everything, like everything, roll with everything. So I want you to watch a couple of YouTube shorts here, okay? Couple of YouTube shorts, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to look at this other side of being passive. And we're going to see, do you fall in either of the categories? And if you'll hold on, I'm going to get the videos for you. There you go. Side one.
More assertive. Avoid these three phrases. Number one, I hate to bother you, but you just labeled your behavior. Now, before you even say a word, the other person is thinking, this is going to bother me. But when you're being assertive, you don't bother anybody. You get their attention. So instead, try this. Just say, when you get a few moments, I'd like to grab your attention. Number two, when you end a sentence with, does that make sense? Don't doubt your ability to send a message or doubt the other person's ability to receive it. Just carry them along with you and say something like, do you have any questions? Do you have any thoughts? Number three, I don't want to, or I don't like to. It sounds much more assertive when you state it in terms of a preference. For example, I preferred that you didn't. What it signals is that you have a standard by which you hold yourself, and what they're asking you to do is deviate from that. And that's how you sound more assertive. So try that and follow me. If you want.
And there we go. We're back. Sorry about that little bit of a blur, everybody. But we are back. And did you catch what he said in the video in which he talked about, your words? Like, you're afraid to ask anything because you don't want to be rejected, okay? That's one side of the coin. So did you catch that? That means in conversation or relationship, you automatically place yourself in a lower position. You automatically give preference to other people. You automatically give greater weight to what another person says. That is dealing with a passive person. Do you mind if I ask you this? Or I don't want to bother you. Or have you ever done that? I've even said that back in the day, and that was kind of a wake-up call to me, like, don't do that. No, what you say is important. Hey, when you get a second, I'd like to share something with you. You don't have to apologize, going in apologizing already, for wanting to talk to people, or maybe even pass along something that may be very well what they need to hear. So, in the second item, I would just say in that video, he talks about being toxically passive. Yeah. And let me just paraphrase it and ask this question. Do you hold to your true desires? It is so important that you're comfortable being able to communicate this. Okay, so if their actions elicit a cue from you, it means that you should speak up. So if someone does something, let's say you're at a party, right? And you have someone who's joking on you, they're joking about your outfit. Oh my God, you look like a clown in that outfit. Hey, we thought we had a clown coming, but we see that the clown is already here, Margaret, throwing that name out there. I don't know a Margaret, you know, or, Samuel, he's over, over there with that hat on, thinking that he's cool. And he looks like, he just stepped out of a whatever, you know, but you're thinking, that's not funny. Or I would have rather you not embarrass me in front of everyone. But what do you do? Do you just hold to that? Do you pull that person aside and say, hey, I didn't think that was cool? Or do you just kind of say, well, I'll let it go? See, the risk and the danger is if you let it go, they're going to think it's okay every time they do it. And see, the risk and the danger is later on is that when they do it again and again and again, by that third time or that seventh time, by the time you address it, it doesn't come out, hey, I didn't think that was cool, or I thought that was a cheap shot. It comes out, I can't believe, you know what that is. And you know how we do. We're just like, I can't believe you just always. And the person's thinking, what's the deal? What's the deal, yo? Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this. You haven't said anything. So, what's the deal? So that's why we address things when we're not happy. When we see it, we call it. You see it, say something, call it. Sometimes we're afraid of disappointing or confronting another person, especially in that relative or spouse arena. Oh, we don't want to confront a relative. We don't want to confront a spouse. No, we want we want everything to remain as is. No, we don't want to confront. We don't want to disappoint. But sometimes you have to, because if not, your esteem, your reputation, even sometimes, will be at stake. So, one of the most important things that you must do to overcome passivity, and listen at this, this is a different take. You've got to constantly confront and monitor you. You. I've got to constantly confront and monitor me. If I'm a passive person, because we're the gatekeepers for our feelings and desires, not anyone else. You have to constantly confront and monitor you. If you know that you have a struggle in the passive arena, you can't expect anyone else to know that or to look out for your best interest. Newsflash, you may not have known this, but people are inherently selfish. So they're going to look out for numero uno first, most often, okay? So you can't expect them to understand or look out for what you need. That responsibility is on you, my friend. That responsibility is on me. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into the reason that you're here tonight, right? What do? Constantly confront and monitor you. I just shared that with you. We're talking about overcoming passiveness. We know what it is: not speaking up, not standing up, not responding when a response calls for it, especially as it relates to an offense or an action that is injurious or hurtful, harmful, slanderous, or victimizes you. Not responding to an action that is injurious, slanderous, victimizing to you. That's what being passive is, just letting it go. You've got to constantly confront and monitor you and ask, how did that really make me feel? Or why didn't that make me feel good? Sometimes, the conversation could be as simple as, I really don't know why. I'm not assuming that you meant anything wrong by this, but for some reason, I just didn't feel good. That didn't leave me feeling good after you said that or after you did that. And I just felt I needed to share that. I felt awkward, or it felt hurtful when you did that. And I wanted to share that with you. And I wanted to ask if you would just, not do that again. I would appreciate it. What else do you need to do? See yourself as equal to someone. You remember me talking a little bit earlier about how oftentimes when we deal with passivity, we're taking a conscious and making a conscious decision to lower ourselves, making a conscious decision to lower ourselves, making a conscious decision to put ourselves in a different category or different light. Okay? See yourself as equal. You're not beneath anyone. I don't care if you're talking to the CEO of the company. You're not beneath the CEO of the organization. You are just as important and significant as they are, and you hold just the same standing. They put on their clothes and pants one pant leg at a time, just like you do. See yourself as equal, my friend. See yourself as equal. And this visualization activity may have to be done conscientiously and often. See yourself standing toe to toe with others, not in a negative light, but not like this. But no, let's do this exercise now. Let's stand with your legs about shoulder width apart. Okay. I want you to consciously, or even if you're sitting down with your legs about shoulder width apart, square your shoulders back. Take a deep breath. I have my hands just kind of hanging down in front of me. I normally like to kind of grab my hands together, just kind of like that, or touch very softly in front of me. Now that's for me a very comfortable and powerful position at the same time, which I don't believe is too threatening. But I basically have aligned my core, settled my core. It's about to see if I can pull the camera down. I've got some things for you to that you may not want to see though. But I basically aligned my core. Okay. You don't need to see what I had all back there. That's a little cubby hole with all of my vitamins and everything there. But basically, I aligned my core. Deep breathe. And it gives me the confidence that I need to move in and to talk to someone. If you just did deep breathing for 5 to 7 times, that would help you too. But see yourself as an equal, my friend. Okay? And here's the deal. The video that we were able to see, learn a new language. I hope you don't mind if sorry to bother you, but I really do mean to, but I hope it doesn't bother you. No, you need to learn a new language. Hey, I would love to talk to you when you get a few minutes. Hey, I have a great idea that I'd love to share with you. Hey, I apparently erased that event on your calendar. Forgive me for that. I'm happy to replace that back on your calendar. Even in a mistake, learn a new language. And along that line, while we're learning that new language, because we're going to ask for what we want. We don't have time to try to be figuring this thing out and scratching our heads and scared about what they're going to say. If you don't want to eat, ladies, if he asks you on a date and you don't want to go to eat Mexican, tell him. Well, I'm not a big fan of a Mexican restaurant. Tell him. Well, he wants to take me to go see this scary movie. Tell him. Well, he wants to take me to this concert to go see this artist. I don't particularly care for this artist nor that type of. Tell him. Guys, she wants to cook you a delicious meal. Now, I was watching Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey says this a little different. He's like, a guy really likes you if he eats a meal and it was horrible, but he really likes you. He's going to eat it and tell you it was the best thing ever. He really likes you. But, I'm like, look, guys, if there's something that a cuisine you don't like, I would say tell her. You don't want her to fix that meal and you eat it and, you're faking. And then when you get married, she cooks the meal again and you're like, I don't like that. And she's like, what? You didn't say that when we were dating. Right. Because we put on all these masks when we're dating. No, I think the beautiful thing is to be able to go ahead and allow you to be seen. Will the real you stand up? That probably is what I should have titled this in this session on passivity. Will the real you stand up? So we're talking about today being passive. We're going to continue this series because I have so many of these items to talk about. And in doing so, I told you that I'm never going to just come on here and just share a problem with you without sharing a solution to all of it. So I'm going to share what's going on, but you're also going to get a solution from me as well. Okay? So talk about being passive. If I would say one of the most important things, I would just say it's that one. I think that encapsulates, sums up everything. Ask for what you want. You want something, be grown enough, be woman enough, be man enough to ask for it. Because at the end of the day, really, it's dealing with fear when we're not able to do that. We're afraid of the other person. But don't you know sometimes too, in being afraid of that person, we have automatically placed them in a superior position over us? Because if you believe that you had equal worth and equal standing, do you really think that you'd be concerned about what the other person thought or afraid to ask them for what you want? Here's the beautiful thing. You may very well be surprised. When you phrase it just right, people really do genuinely want to help you. They really do genuinely want to make life better for you. You've got a few people who don't. We're not talking about those people. This is not for them. But we've got people who genuinely want to make life better for you. You could be dating a narcissist. We are continuing our series, and we're going to camp out here, okay? Because if you're smart, you'll hear more than just you could be dating a narcissist. You'll hear different ways that you can grow as a woman to become an ideal mate. You'll hear different ways that you can grow to become even a better employee, different ways that you can grow to become a better person and attract a wonderful relationship and get your needs met in a relationship. Imagine that. See, one of the philosophies that I stress is we make so much ado sometimes. I'm speaking for the women now. We make so much ado about being found by a guy. We make much ado about being found, being, getting that right relationship. But the question I have for you is what happens when you get in the relationship? What does that person get? What happens? Who are you? What are they getting? So at the end of the day, you don't go wrong with this because you're cleaning up some things with you to become the best version of you. That is really the most important thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kisa. I'm Coach K. I'll be here tomorrow night and the next one and the next one through Friday. We're doing these series Monday through Friday. I kind of give you a little bit of a break on the weekend, right? So we're like in class at night, give 30 minutes, and we're just talking through some stuff on how to be better, on how to live better. Please don't see me as the person who is coming down on you or pointing the finger, like that, from a teacher's perspective. No, I'm the person who is coming alongside you and in this relay race of life, and I'm grabbing your hand and saying, "Come on, let's go." Saying, "Come on, let's go." Grabbing your hand. That's me, right there. Grabbing your hand, saying, "Come on, let's go. We can do it." Yeah, we've had some disappointments, but we can do it. Yeah, we've had some setbacks. We can still do it. Yeah, we've had some things that didn't work. We can still do it. You can do it. Passive and all. You got this. I'm Kisa, Coach K. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the next installment of You Could Be Dating a Narcissist, Ideal Partners. I do thank you.